Welcome back to Mac Music Review, my crazy family. Before we hop into the review, just want to say there's going to be some stuff down in the description if you're interested in how the channel works, if you want to request an album, if you want to know how the channel works, it's all down in the description. Today we're going to be looking at the album Mad Haven by Canon. Canon is a Christian rapper who most people haven't heard of. He's not one of the Reach Records rappers, so he doesn't have that popularity, that platform. And he's also not one of the Humble Beast rappers, so he doesn't have that underground fan base. He is just Canon. He is just himself. He's on Reflection Music Group, which is owned by Derek Minor. Derek Minor does have some popularity and some success, but Canon, not a whole lot. Especially with this album, not a lot of popularity. But it is worth noting that this album does have his biggest name guest stars. Of course, this album features Derek Minor on the songs Lotto and Out of Tune. Derek Minor's the guy that owns his label, that owns Canon's label, so it just makes sense that Derek Minor once more makes an appearance. He's made multiple appearances in Canon songs. And then you also have Lecrae on the song How We Do It. Lecrae is the head of Reach Records. He's like the go-to Christian rapper. He used to be the #1 Christian rapper. Now it's kind of NF, but NF kind of doesn't want to be associated with the Christian rapper title. So it might be Lecrae. Lecrae might be the biggest Christian rapper. So yeah. You also have this the rapper JR, the Christian rapper JR on the song Special. JR is going to be a familiar name to anybody who's a big Lecrae fan, anyone that listens to Lecrae music, because JR is featured on a bunch of Lecrae songs. I don't really know JR for his solo content, I just know he's a frequent collaborator with Lecrae, and he's on this album. Mad Haven is actually the debut album for Canon. It's not the debut project from Canon. The first ever Canon thing that he made was his mixtape, his EP, Loose Cannon Volume 1. But this is his first. This was released a year after Loose Cannon Volume 1, and this is his debut album. It's a full-length album. This thing has 14 tracks, 13 songs, and then the bonus track at the end. And these are pretty long, dense songs. These are full-length songs. This is a very big sounding album. It's definitely a lengthy album. The music on this album is musically, this album is kind of old sounding, but at the same time, it doesn't sound super duper corny. It's not like the first thing, which was just like really bad, outdated electronic music. There really is very little of that. There's kind of an electronic vibe on Lotto, and then maybe a little bit on Out of Tune, but the majority, and How We Do It also has some electronic music, some old school style, outdated electronic music. But the majority of this record, you have a lot of different sounds and a lot of different variation in the music. A lot of it is really hard beats. A lot of it is kind of smooth and cool sounding. A good example of the diversity of the tracks is the song, what's it called? Relations. Relations, the music sounds like a Big Crit song. The music is just really kind of, it's kind of jazzy, it's kind of throwback, it's kind of classy, but it's kind of, I don't know, it's hard to describe. And musically, this record does have a lot of variation. The tracks do sound fairly different from each other. And yeah, most of these, the opening track is really big and climactic sounding, and others are more subtle. Mind Vomit has a really dark beat that goes and propels the song. It's a very lyrical song, but the beat propels the lyrics. And just a lot of diversity in the instrumentation on this album. And very little simple instrumentation. Most of these songs have a lot of different things going on in the music. Now, if I had to say whether this album was musical or lyrical, I would say this album is lyrical. Canon sounds like a man on a mission on this album. He definitely has a message, and he definitely wants to get that message out there. Interestingly, though, it's not like a super duper Christian message like you would hear on like a really old Lecrae album where all the songs were about Jesus and about being a Christian, and very, very specifically that. This album is very Christian. The lyrics are very inspired by Canon's faith, but at the same time, it doesn't sound super duper preachy on most of these songs. And because a lot of what Can's talking about is living life, about wanting to be successful, and it's all from the perspective of a Christian. But he'll talk about, about struggling with things, about bad things in life, about violence, about wanting to be successful, wanting to make a name for yourself, and just all these different lyrical themes. Most of them pretty mature and a little bit heavy, a little bit serious. Not a little bit serious, but the lyrics on this thing are serious for like the whole album, minus the last song. My City is just kind of a tribute to Chi-Town, just kind of saying, hey, this is where I'm from, and I'm repping where I'm from, and that's the last song. But everything else on here, pretty serious. There's a lot of serious lyrical content throughout this record, and this is the most serious he's been in a single project, because basically all these songs are pretty serious, and most of Canon's other stuff on his Loose Cannon series is pretty careless and fun, but this is a serious album. Musically, I would say this record definitely hits the mark more than it misses the mark. Musically, this thing really does have a lot of highlights, and just this album totally shocked me with the quality of the record. It was made in 2013, and literally a year before, with the Loose Cannon EP Volume 1, that thing sounds terrible. The music is so dumb sounding on that album. And literally just 1 year later, he just has this super, high quality, actually well-produced album. The first song, Mad Haven, just sounds epic. It shoots for the stars, and it starts making an epic feeling. And it works fairly well. It goes across pretty well. How We Do It has this corny electronic music, but it actually works. It actually doesn't sound terrible. Walk With Me sounds really good. This track just sounds really interesting. Different has a really cool beat that's actually, if you listen to the instrumental version of this song, they have an instrumental version on an instrumental version of this album, and the beat is actually really complex and changes throughout the song, and it's actually really cool. Relations, like I said, that's probably my favorite song on this album in terms of music. It has that Big Crit kind of vibe, kind of classy, kind of nice, and it actually works really, really well. And then the song Special has more serious, slow music, and it sounds really good. It works just really well, fits well with the lyrics, and that song sounds good. And then other songs with kind of a darker, kind of violent kind of beat is Mind Vomit and Full Plates. And these songs really, they try to hit kind of hard with the music, and it works really well, especially on Mind Vomit. That is one of the best songs Ken has ever made. The lyrics are so and the music is and it fits perfectly and just makes a really killer song. Another song that sounds pretty good on this thing is The Road. The Road is one of, it's kind of like Special, and that's kind of tries to be really kind of more serious with the music even, and it goes pretty well. It sounds pretty good. Lyrically, this album is, it's actually pretty good. You'd be surprised. There are some corny lines here and there. Normally sometimes rappers like to do analogies and metaphors and stuff, and sometimes it goes across really well, like when Kanye does it or when Aha does it, Aha Gazelle. But then when this guy does it, it sometimes falls a little flat. It makes you say, why did he just say that? Other times, though, mostly this album does try to be serious, and it really does pay off. There are a lot of good lyrics that have very interesting takes on violence. I mean, not really super interesting, but really good, meaningful takes on violence, on God, on how to live your life, and literally just how to live your life and how to survive. And it's good, man. Lyrics about money, lyrics about everything. This is a profound record. There's a lot of good, dense, mature lyrics on this thing, and that just makes it good. It's just a lyrically very super solid record. It's mature, it's occasionally profound, it's strong, it's meaningful, and it's all from a Christian perspective, and that really helps influence the lyrics and makes them in a right place, I would say. Yep. Another thing I need to mention is Canon himself. Of course, the man. There's actually every single song on this album has a guest artist, minus the song How We Do It. Oh, never mind. How We Do It does have a guest artist. The only songs that don't have guest artists are Walk With Me, Full Plates, Mind Vomit, and My City. And he does a great job. The guest artists on this album do sort of, they don't really add a ton to the album, I would say. They don't really, there aren't any like there aren't any like moments where I'm like, wow, this guest artist totally killed it. Except for the song The Road, where the guest singer does do a really good job with the chorus. But other than that, I'm just like, I mean, yeah. Vocally, performance-wise, this album is solid. It's not amazing, but it's definitely solid. Mad Haven, man. This album was way better than I thought it would be. It's lyrically, this is by a long shot Canon's best effort. It's his most profound, it's his most mature, it's his most serious, and it is his most effective. Lyrically, this album just resonates really well. Musically, this thing is actually really good. Most of these songs do sound really good. There are a few setbacks, which is why this album isn't amazing. Those songs would be the ones with Derek Minor. Lotto does not sound very good. And then Out of Tune, that one didn't sound really good. Grow Up sounds kind of meh, and then How We Do It, it's not amazing. It can be enjoyed, but like it takes a little bit of suspension of belief. You kind of have to be kind of very uncritical to enjoy it. You could easily criticize that song. And so because of that, because of some elements in the music that aren't great, and then the last song is not super great in terms of lyrics, but for the most part, this project has really good music, really good lyrics. I'm gonna give this thing 4 stars out of 5. Thank you for watching. You're the best. 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 Copyright, copyright, copyright. Except no one watches my videos, so I'm not gonna get in trouble. Maybe that's why no one watches my videos, because Needle Drop has already like gotten me in trouble with copyright for using his catchphrase at the end of his videos. Thanks for watching.